You're a good person, right? We all like to think we are, but what happens when your comfort is gone and you're somewhere on a distant plain or desert or mountain with no food, no medicine? You're cold, sick, and the people that look to you for leadership are also sick and dying. Just picture this for a moment. The world has fallen into chaos. There are no more governments, laws, or policemen, and you found yourself in a desperate situation. Your community has been cut off from the rest of the world, and your stockpiled supplies were destroyed when your shelter collapsed because your friend who watched one DIY video thought he was a master carpenter. Your friends and family are battling infections, and you use the last of your antibiotics. The only person who can help is having a mental breakdown, and the winter is setting in. It's not looking good there, pal. But then, you spot another group of survivors setting up camp nearby. They have medicine, they have food, they have warm clothing, and they even have some comfort items that might help everyone's morale. They outnumber your group, but you've separated to sleep in different areas. One of your companions was a hunter and still has their rifle. What do you do? Before this disaster, the answer would have been obvious. You're not a murderer. You'd never ambush innocent people for their supplies. But now you're weighing the value of their resources against the lives of your friends. You're considering how to handle the aftermath if things go wrong. You're wondering if you could convince their medic to join your group, willingly or otherwise. What if I told you that there is a game that would have you make that choice, one click at a time? Hello everybody, it's your host, the Ghost with the Most. First, I just want to thank every single one of you that watched my last Tarkov video, that liked on that video, and that subscribed because of that video. I don't even know what to say. That video blew up. When I uploaded that video, I had 70 subscribers. 70 subscribers. As of scripting this, I'm approaching 2,700. Thank you so much, and I'm so sorry that this next video took a while. I promise you I'll start uploading frequently. If you're already subscribed, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Sublime Ghost, and on my channel I do philosophical and cultural analysis of video games, movies, books, internet culture, and random topics. If you like what you're watching, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel more than you know. You guys blew the last sub goal out of the water, so let's aim for something crazy. Let's aim for 5,000 subs. If you want to help out, go ahead and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Thank you for being here. This is RimWorld, a colony building sandbox survival simulator. In RimWorld, your job is simple. Stay alive. Easy, right? You do it to varying degrees of success every day, and you manage to make it this far. And hey, if you're watching, thanks for being here. It's good to have you. Anyway, it seems easy just to stay alive when you have a house and food and medicine and all the comforts of modern civilization. But in RimWorld, you start with a few weeks of food, a couple of building supplies, and a few, I'm not sure what to call them exactly. There's no nice word for it. They're not survivors or colonists. Calling them that would be an insult to actual survivalists and colonists. They're more like mentally handicapped monkeys which you have to wrangle and somehow get to create a functioning community. One is dumb as rocks but means well. The other one refuses to clean or pick stuff up, and the last one likes to set things on fire at the slightest inconvenience. It would probably be easier to get a bunch of North Sentinel Islanders to build something that actually functions than this group of goobers. In RimWorld, you get a bunch of random so-called colonists to build a functioning society. The colonists can come from all different walks of life, and can be good or terrible at certain things. All colonists have a childhood background, a current job, personality traits, relationships, and skills. There are many of each, from being a house servant to a builder to a spy to mafia boss and anything in between. Once you pick your colonists, you can pick your landing spot on a randomly generated RimWorld. Personally, I like to play in the colder areas of the map for the challenge of having to go through winter. If you're a giant goo goo gaga baby, you can play somewhere that has permanent summer. You can choose to play in the plains, a bog, a rainforest, deserts, and even sea ice if you hate yourself. After that, you can pick your AI storyteller. The AI storyteller is the most unique part of RimWorld. They are 3 storytellers that control the events in the game and that will make it more difficult as time goes on. Starting with the first one, Cassandra Classic. She's a typical storyteller. She'll start off easy, but as your colony grows, it'll get more and more difficult over time, like a typical story. Then, there's Phoebe Chillax. Phoebe likes to play with your emotions like she's an alt girl you matched with on Tinder. She'll lull you into a false sense of security, make you feel like everything is okay and that you've got this and that there is, in fact, light at the end of the tunnel. But then she reminds you that life isn't sweet and this is not, in fact, Disneyland. Not in the way that a caring mother would, no. She'll do it in the most heinous, malicious, most rambunctious way she can possibly dream of in that sick head of hers. Your colony will suffer greatly at the digital hands of this heathen, and you'll never see women the same again. Just like what happened with that alt girl from Tinder. Emma, I still love you. Please write me back. I'll never insult your collection of hundreds of stuffies ever again. Anyway, then there's Random Randy. He's my favorite because he is ultimately the most moral in this universe. He chooses no side, is completely unbiased, and acts as a particularly uninterested god. One day he will bless your colony with 500 buckets of milk, and the next he will drop a group of mad-eating machines directly on top of your colony, giving you not even the slightest hope to survive. And if you do survive, your colonists would wish that they did die in that mech invasion, as they'll be starving, sick, and dying very, very slowly. In that moment, when all seems lost at the hands of this uncaring and cruel god, he'll send your colony a tame donkey. It almost seems like a biblical story, except there is no lesson to be learned here. Just pain, with no particular rhyme or reason. The game consists of you trying to get all your colonists to not unalive themselves and each other while building a thriving community, while facing outside threats and inside threats. The threats can be simple, things that have haunted humanity since the first caveman made fire. They can be plagues, food shortages, fires, raids, crop failures, cold winters, hot summers, and much more. They can also be unique to the game's sci-fi setting. They can be mechanoid clusters falling from the sky, ancient dangers awakening beneath the earth, or psychic phenomena that can drive your colonists to madness. There's also research you can do to improve your colony, manufacturing and crafting. There's other factions that you can choose to ally or attack, and you can even build a spaceship to get off this planet. That's if you get that far. Most of the time you'll be staring at the screen as your colony, which you spend so much time on, burns down in front of you, and your last colonist bleeds out slowly as you watch. You can imagine this colonist laying in the grass, the fire raging in the buildings around them, and them making peace with whatever god they may or may not believe in. In their last moments, they'll wonder where it all went wrong, and what could have been done differently to have avoided this. You'll find yourself asking the same questions from the comfort of your computer chair. Today, we're exploring one of the games that has stolen thousands of hours of my life and made me change the way I look at morality itself. Welcome to The Rim. So, here you are. You got your band of mentally handicapped monkeys, some basic supplies to get you started, a pet, a pistol, and a rifle. That's all you get to create a functioning society. You might want to start with a basic room for your colonists so they have somewhere to store the supplies and a place to sleep at night. Once that's finished, you should build a farm to get some food production on the way, and then you can start building your glorious base and expanding. There are many moving parts to this game, so let's go through them one by one. If you thought that the colonists were complex enough with all their traits, backgrounds, skills, etc., wait until you hear about their relationships. These people fight, make up, and then want to unalive each other at every turn. It's like managing a bunch of millennials with alcohol problems. One day they're all fine and hanging out in the cafeteria making small talk about random things that colonists might talk about, and the next moment they could literally be at each other's throats, and you have to get all your colonists to step in and break up the fight. Then the next day the same pair of colonists will be in a committed relationship, and the day after that be divorced and hating each other's guts. Actually, that's exactly what millennials are like. They don't only have friendships or romantic relationships, sometimes they are family. They could be parents and children, siblings, grandparents, and more. The colonists love to fight like family or friends, which adds a very complicated layer to this game. The relationships are dynamic as well, like I mentioned. Colonists, which are enemies at first, can be brought together through experience and hardship. A couple can fight in the middle of the cafeteria and break up in front of everyone, like millennials. If you can't tell, I have a small issue concerning millennials, but that's for another video. These colonists are also as delicate and prone to sickness as a newborn kitten. They can get infections, flus, plagues, cancers, among a whole assortment of other ailments. Again, it's up to you to deal with the situations as they come up. And again, hard decisions will have to be made. Medicine is not easy to find nor produce on the Rim, and let me tell you, you will be needing as much of it as possible, and you will need to guard it jealously. When colonists get sick or injured, your doctors will need to perform surgery, and naturally they use medicine as well. There's 3 types of medicine: herbal, industrial, and glitter world. Herbal medicines are the least reliable in terms of quality, but it's easy to find and grow. It'll do the job in a pinch should you really need it, and it's really good for prisoners or other guests so you don't spend your good medicine on people that aren't your pawns. Industrial medicine is pretty good. It does the job pretty much every time, but isn't cheap or easy to find, though it can be produced if you have the research and skilled colonists. Glitter world medicine is a type of medicine that could bring back Epstein if he was really dead. It's the best medicine on the Rim, and should only be used for your VIPs or for the most important life-threatening surgeries. It can't be produced, only bought, and at a steep price at that. Thankfully for curbside pharmaceutical representatives like me, there are also strictly pharmaceutical drugs. YouTube, I am talking about a game. This is all fictional and part of a game. Anyway, the pharmaceutical. We have well-known pharmaceuticals that provide many boons to your colonists, such as Go Juice, which is really good to make your colonists, well, go, without getting them addicted to something worse. But if you really wanted to make your colonists work, may I recommend Wake Up? If you thought Go Juice made you go, wait until you try Wake Up. It's like switching from 6 milligrams snus to 15 milligrams snus. Then there is Yayo, and yes, it's exactly what it looks like. And it does exactly what you think it does. And there's its cheaper alternative, Flake, which is good for turning your colony into Skid Row. And of course, my favorite, Smoke Leaf. If we all did Smoke Leaf, there would finally be peace on the rim. There's one final layer concerning the colonists, their mood. Yes, they may be mentally handicapped monkeys, but they're mentally handicapped monkeys with feelings. They get mad, sad, anxious, and happy depending on the current state of your colony. If everything is going okay, then they'll be content and make no trouble. If you just got raided and lost a couple colonists to raiders, other colonists will be sad that they passed away, or maybe they'll be happy that they survived the raid. Colonists can also converse with each other. They can agree, joke around, or insult each other, which affects their mood. They get worried when supplies are low, and if they're the human rights type, they care when a prisoner is treated badly. These people obviously need to be re-educated. Everything that I've talked to you so far was just about the colonists, but now let's talk about the building and running your base. You won't start with much, so if you're planning on building Pablo Escobar's compound, good luck. You're most likely going to start with a shack where your colonists will keep their stuff, sleep, and eat. Once you get set up with the basics, you can start research and expanding your base. RimWorld is a sandbox game, which means you can do whatever you want and build whatever you want. A cool cafeteria for your colonists, a relaxing living room, a room for, let's say, getting rid of waste. You can build any type of colony you want. When I play this game, I like to make colonies that are really good at manufacturing weapons or pharmaceuticals. Now that you've built up your base and have cool stuff, there are other inhabitants of this planet, and guess what? They want your cool stuff, and they're willing to shoot you for it. So what do? Well, you build some guns. You arm your colonists and you shoot them back, preferably with overwhelming firepower. People like to run meta builds for base defense, mazes filled with traps and kill boxes. These people are not fun at parties. Why even play the game at this point? I like to build defense in depth to defend my base. I like to plan out defenses and have them work out. I hate metagaming because I believe it takes out creativity of playing this game. Thankfully, you aren't forced to metagame, and doing your own thing is just as fun and rewarding. Remember that I mentioned there are other factions in this game? That's right, like I mentioned, you aren't the only group of human beings trying to make it on this planet. There are many randomly generated factions, from regular colonists to less than friendly tribespeople. In this game, you can live out your Silk Road dreams and send out caravans to trade with other factions. You can give gifts, trade, and do quests for other factions as well. You can also do as the Mongols do and sack the other colonies, friendly or unfriendly. Now I know this sounds like a regular base building game that you've played 1,000 times. Build, manage, expand, etc. Why is this game so special? Everything I talked about until now just sounds normal. I get it. Dear viewer, it does sound pretty regular. Until you realize that this game isn't holding your hand, and due to its survival sandbox nature, you may be put into some questionable situations. I remember when I first started playing this game, and what made me fall in love with it. My first colony was pretty simple. I did many things wrong, but I was still learning the game. Due to my mistakes and miscalculations, my colony ran out of food for the winter. There were no animals, no traders, and definitely no farming happening. My colonists were starving. However, we had a trusted pet dog in the colony. If it hasn't clicked yet, let me just mention one small detail about this game. You can eat every living creature. Every living creature. So there I was, that slaughter button calling to me like the Ring of Power. I couldn't believe what I was doing. What was I doing? Dear viewer, I was playing RimWorld, and I had a colony to take care of. Decisions were made, and now we know that dog meat is chewy. Like I said, the colony must go on, no matter what. This is life on the RimWorld. Get ready to make some tough decisions. It's easy for the most of the people watching this video. Most of you are probably sitting in an air-conditioned room, have food whenever you need it, are comfortable. Look at you. Are you having a good time? Well, you're watching my video, so of course you are, and I'm glad to have you. Anyway, it's easy to be a good, moral, upstanding citizen when everything is provided to you, and tomorrow is basically guaranteed for yourself and your community. Because as we all know, say it with me class, nothing ever happens. That's right. But what if something did happen? What if you didn't have your chicken nuggies or overpriced bed from IKEA? Hold on, let me do some research here. Oh my goodness, that's so expensive. I'm never moving out of my parents' house. I don't care. And what if your room where you have privacy, you had to share it with a bunch of other people who aren't your family and may or may not be dangerous and may or may not unalive you in your sleep because they're in a bad mood? It sounds like prison, right? Well, actually, it's life on the rim. Really imagine that life. I mean, really. In the morning, you get up early, go eat, and go straight to work. And you see the consequences of your work every day. You have an actual job. A job. One that matters and has consequences. Maybe you have to milk the cows in the barn, or maybe you're working to fix up or expand said barn. Maybe you work in the fields every summer in the heat, and in the winter you sew parkas for your fellow colonists. Or maybe you're a doctor, and when someone gets shot or attacked by a bear, you have to stitch them up. Their lives are in your hands. Don't mess up. Sometimes your settlement will be attacked by raiders, and you have to help defend it and move the dead bodies, whether you like it or not. In our society, if you're from the West, most people get burials, or at least proper cremations if they die, no matter who it was, a prisoner or a nun. In RimWorld, when someone dies, it is your choice and responsibility on what to do with the body. Do you make graves? Do you cremate them? Or do you leave the bodies outside to rot and be eaten by animals? If you do bury them, who gets a proper burial? Burying every single body takes time, especially early on in the game. It takes time. Your colonists have to go out there, dig the hole, find the body, bring the body to the hole, and bury it. That's a lot of time that can be used to do other things. Who gets to be buried? Only your colonists? What if a friendly stranger died around your colony? Will you afford them some space and time to bury them? You don't have to do any of these things. It's your choice. There are creative solutions to this problem too. I introduce you to the burn pit. That's my solution and it follows my morals. If you attacked us, you don't deserve a grave. I don't care about the excuse. Your body isn't worth the time to bury. I'd leave it out in the wild if it didn't hurt my colonists' eyes. What are your morals? If you believe that everyone deserves a proper burial, then be prepared to lose precious building space and time to bury the bodies. You can leave the bodies outside until they fully decompose. It's your choice. What do you feel is the right thing to do? RimWorld forces you with these dilemmas every day you spend on the Rim. Dealing with corpses may be grim, but there are worse things that you will have to deal with on the Rim. The game's sandbox nature opens it up to so many different moral dilemmas. For example, your colonists can get sick. They may need an organ transplant to keep them going, otherwise they will die. Now, what do you do when one of your colonists needs a kidney transplant and you have a prisoner with not one, but two perfectly viable kidneys? Where do your morals stand, dear player? This prisoner was caught during a raid and they injured a few of your colonists. Do you make them pay the kidney tax? You could. You could very well take his kidneys and transplant it to your colonist in need. Yes, some of the more sensitive pawns in your colony will be sad for a couple of days, but the game won't care. The buttons are right there. Will you press them? What if that prisoner wasn't a prisoner at all, but some poor soul that crash landed on your colony? They're not exactly the most useful, so you don't really care about keeping them around. They didn't technically do anything wrong, unless you consider trespassing on your property worthy of having your kidney stolen, of course. Where do your morals lie? This game puts you in many uncomfortable situations with no clear way out. Let me tell you a short story of the exact type of situation I love this game for. It was late fall, the wind was blowing through the trees, and one of my best farmers was out harvesting the last of the crops for the winter. He was out working until the alarm sounded. From the forest came bloodthirsty raiders, with their pistols, clubs, and want of destruction. They charged my base immediately and without hesitation. The farmer was unfortunately caught outside of the safety of the walls. In the outer farm fields, the raider with the pistol was a fast one. He gained on him with speed and put a round through his leg. My farmer kept fleeing, but he was dangerously slowed. I quickly mounted my guards and sent them out to the outer fields. Before my guards could arrive, the brigands caught up to my innocent farmer. He tried to put up a fight, but the bandits outnumbered him, and they clubbed him until he was laying unconscious, beaten to a pulp and losing blood at an alarming rate. My guards finally showed up to the scene and made swift work of the raiders with their rifles and superior training. My medic took my barely alive farmer back to the hospital where he was patched up, and the surviving raiders were taken as prisoners. While my medic was helping my farmer, I saw that the farmer had his spine broken from those hooligans. He was no longer able to walk. The hour that I found this out was the very same hour the raiders were swiftly executed by my wardens and their bodies cremated. My farmer pulled through and was able to recover from most of his injuries, but you can't heal a broken spine so easily. He was unable to walk and was confined to the four walls of my hospital. This man was one of my best in the colony, a real workhorse. He could farm twice, maybe even 3 times as fast as my other colonists. He now just took up a bed in the hospital. And so winter set in, and my problem is I like to play in the tundra. As usual in young colonies, food became a problem. My medic fed the injured farmer as he was supposed to. However, the food stockpile was running low, and no animals were showing up. Worse yet, I was feeding a man that was providing nothing to the colony. He laid there day after day as my colonists worked around the colony. There seemed to be no hope for him. Until one day I get a notification. There is a raider camp nearby. But that's not the important part. The important part? They had a healer mech serum that could restore my colonist's spine. It wasn't too far, but it was still winter and the camp wouldn't be there for the spring. The colony was young as well. There were few colonists and even fewer who were capable fighters. I made a decision that this man deserved to have his spine repaired. He was invaluable to the colony and a good friend to all the colonists. If I wanted this man back in the fields by spring, I don't believe I would get a better chance. I mounted a caravan as soon as possible. All my best fighters went along with what supplies I could spare. They set off on the journey. A few days later, they returned, successful, and having taken no losses. I was proud of my fighters and of myself. This was an important mission for the colony. My medic injected the serum into my farmer, and sure enough, the next spring he was back out in the fields. This is why I love this game. There is no other game that allows for such deep storytelling and moral decision making than RimWorld, and for it all to be generated just through the AI storytellers makes it even more impressive. When I say that this game is a sandbox game and you can do anything you want, I mean you can do anything you want, including what I call a permanent internship at the colony, or what the United Nations might call slavery. Tomato, tomato. Do I feel bad about it? Not particularly. It's not stupid Protestant American style slavery based on skin color. It's cool Roman style slavery where anyone can become a slave if they're dumb enough to attack your colony. Or just if they seem useful. If anything, I'm helping these raiders. They come attack my base with torn tribal wear, a club, and no honest work experience whatsoever. These people have nothing to put on their resumes, and to be honest, I feel bad for them. I beat them unconscious, like you do with all people that you pity, and I give them a place to sleep, some new clothes, and I send them to work. Remember, I'm not a racist, I'm a utilitarian, and a humanitarian at that, like Bill Gates, or Fauci. Anyway, we covered the mechanics behind pharmaceuticals in this game, but I'd like to talk about the ethics behind them now. You ever hear how in the 80s everyone in America was doing a certain white powder and working like hell? Well, you can have that in RimWorld. Need guns faster? Give your craftsmen some go juice. Need your slaves to volunteer harder? Give them some flake. Get them addicted to it so they never want to leave your colony. But seriously, I've done both of these things and felt absolutely nothing. Work needs to be done. The colony must go on. Again, I ask you, dear viewer, where do your morals stand? Would you give your guards pharmaceuticals if it helped them fight harder, but they have a chance of getting addicted or possibly having a heart attack? Would you give your craftsmen pharmaceuticals to help them stay focused and work harder? Why or why not? You're technically not really hurting anyone, and they feel good when they take said pharmaceuticals. Are you a square? I thought you were cool. Come on, do some yayo, all the cool kids are doing it. During your time on the Rim, you'll also get poor souls looking for charity from your colony. And the choice really is yours. The game won't punish you by giving you a bad ending or reducing your honor or anything like that. If you want, you can invite these people to your colony. From there, you can do whatever you want to them. You could help them with whatever they need, or you can, you guessed it, offer them a spot at your permanent internship program. It's all up to you. Dear viewer, this game has stolen thousands of hours of my life. It's one of my favorite games, and I hope I gave it justice during this video. The sandbox nature of this game, combined with the AI storytelling and difficult moral decision making, makes this game perfect for me. I highly recommend RimWorld, obviously. Just be prepared to lose a lot of time on it. This game shows you who you really are, and where your morals stand. Are you prepared to do anything for you and yours to survive another day? Are you prepared to make difficult decisions when lives are at stake? Yes, this is just a video game, but I invite you to really think next time you play this game. Would you really take the decisions this game offers you? The game kind of separates you from your colonists by calling them pawns, but I invite you to think of these pawns as real people next time you play. They have a childhood, a previous job, skills, traits, and personalities. They have worries and dreams, and like all of us, they just want to be safe, loved, and well fed. Can you provide that for them while keeping your morals intact, or will you throw away your humanity to ensure their survival? There are many games with moral choices, but few that let you actually explore the depths of your own morality like RimWorld does. The beauty of it is that there is no right answer, only the choices you make and their consequences, and only in a game like RimWorld do you have the freedom to truly get to know yourself. That's my video on RimWorld. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you watched this far, thank you. It really helps out the channel. If you like this kind of content, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. If you want to see me cover a specific game or topic, leave it in the comments and make sure to tell me a story where your morals were truly tested in this game. I would love to read your comments. I'm planning on covering a certain game. I don't want to spoil it yet, but it's a very popular game and I've never played it before. If you would be interested in watching me stream the game, make sure you leave a comment. I want to get into streaming, maybe. I know I said this video would be one exploring a topic on the internet, but I decided to make another video game analysis since you guys loved the last one so much. And once again, thank you for the support on that last video. It truly left me humbled. Thank you for being here. Until next time, stay sublime. Bye bye.